Test one, 2, 3.
Should be good. It should come on at 4:45, like the actual camera footage. Sounds good.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Campbell Sports Center and a Skyline matchup on this beautiful Tuesday evening. We have the Purchase Panthers visiting the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons. Now, like I said last time, I am prone to hyperbole, but this is a good one, ladies and gentlemen, for multiple reasons. We've got storylines left and right. First and foremost, both of these teams that have perennially not been in the Skyline playoffs. Both teams who have, Sarah Lawrence has never been in the Skyline playoffs. Purchase Panthers, last time they were in the Skyline playoffs was 2018. But after 8 games, both teams sit at 5-3 in the conference. Both teams in prime position to make a playoff run. And not only might both of these teams make the playoffs, this matchup could determine some important seeding, as both teams have a chance at hosting a playoff game. So that's storyline number 1. Who can make it to the playoffs? Who can secure some extra wins for seeding? Number 2, we've got impressive freshmen on both sides of the court. For the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons, we have Sarah Terrio with an impressive 17 points per game. Also leads the team in rebounds with 6.7. As you hear the Purchase Panthers make her presence be known, they're energetic, they're ready to go. But as I was saying, Sarah Terrio with 6.7 rebounds per game. Last home game, she had 17 rebounds to beat the Mount St. Vincent Dolphins. But she's not the only impressive freshman on the Gryphons. We also have Jade Ing Stewart with 14 points per game and 5.6 rebounds a game. Sarah Terrio has 3 Rookie of the Weeks to her name already. Jade Ing Stewart has another to her name. On the other side, though, we have Tiana Patton, who is leading the Purchase Panthers with a 13.5 points per game. And she has knocked 2 Rookie of the Weeks already. That's storyline number 2, impressive freshmen on both sides. Third, we have some of the most intense coaching you will see definitely in the conference, but probably all over the country. Both of these coaches clap more than I thought was humanly possible. Coach Martin Rather, he likes to pace. If you can see it on the stream, you might see in the bottom right corner, you see he goes along the bench. I don't know how many miles he walks. It's got to be a high number. I think he intentionally doesn't keep track of how many miles he walks because it would be shocking. And then on the other hand, though, Coach Bauer, who is giving Coach Rather a run for his money on intensity, but he likes to go vertical. I want you to pay attention to how many times he goes through his knees. He lowers himself to encourage his team, to give them directions. But first, we'll listen to the national anthem here. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And as I was saying, we have two intense coaches on both sides. We have impressive freshmen on both sides, and we have two teams that are making a run for the playoffs. Now we have the starters. For the Purchase Panthers, it's number 10, Craig. Number 11, Neb, senior, shifty guard. Number 20, Larson, the junior. Number 23, Patton, the freshman. And number 33, Twisha Sivaramakrishnan. And now for the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons. The senior guard from Atlanta, Georgia, number 2, Gabby Hudson. Sarah Terrio, number 5, the freshman I was just talking about, 3 Rookie of the Weeks already. The senior, Colleen Coughlin, number 12. The other freshman starting this game, Jade Ing Stewart, number 24. And to round it off, number 35, the senior, Kayla Dortch. Now, this also should be an interesting matchup because both teams love to play with intensity. They play with intensity in different ways, though. Purchase, they like to come up close on defense, a lot of ball pressure. They don't stop with their full court press. Whether it's working or not, they keep going. They will press you pretty much no matter what. Whereas on the other side, the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons, they love to get out in transition. They'll pick their moment, they'll pick their time, and then they'll go quick. But on defense, they might press or they might sit back. They switch it up depending on the situation. Either way, this should be a good one. 2 playoff contenders who have not seen the playoffs in a while. 2 sides with very impressive freshmen. 2 intense coaches. Who's going to bring it home? As we tip off, and the ball goes to Ing Stewart. First possession for the Gryphons. As we see what kind of defense Purchase set up. There's that ball pressure I was talking about. Patton on Hudson. Terrio on the wing. Gets a screen from Dortch. That's a midi jumper. Usually those fall. It was halfway in. Somehow rattled out. Now ball out to Coughlin. That's a little short, but Dortch is there for the rebound. And on the putback, she gets fouled. Dortch will go to the line. Good offensive possession to start things off. A screen from Dortch opening up a mid-range jumper for Sarah Terrio. And if you're the Gryphons, you'll take that at any time. That one didn't fall. But after a second 3 and a rebound and a foul, Dortch is on the line. She misses the first. But she drains the second. Here we go, the Gryphons with a full court press. Ball goes to Patton. Straight back to the inbounder, Larson. Ned, now at the top. Hudson with a little bite at the ball. Sivaramakrishnan, back to the basket. Now dribbling right, but meets Hudson and Dortch. Ooh, tried the little backdoor pass. Somehow ends up at a teammate. Sivaramakrishnan tries again. That's no good, and the Gryphons are in transition. Hudson with a midi jumper of her own, and that's pure. Nothing but net. Gabby Hudson loves that shot. If you give that to her, she'll take it pretty much every time. And she immediately forces the jump ball. An effective press. The ball will stay with the Purchase Panthers because the Gryphons won the tip. But the possession arrow will now switch sides. Neb Gives it back to Larson. He's pushing down the court. Keeping the pace high. Dribbles right. Floats one up. That's too strong. And Ing Stewart with a strong rebound. Looking ahead. One-handed pass. Oh, my goodness. Quarterbacking from Ing Stewart out to Coughlin. She goes for three. That's a little short. Quick battle for the rebound, but Larson pulls it in. Hudson on Neb. Neb calling the plays. Now Sivaramakrishnan at the line, and somehow Neb finds herself wide open under the basket as the Gryphons defenders got a little tangled up there. And now we see the purchase press. Can the Gryphons find their way through it? They do. Terrio now with a quick 2-on-1. Dortch with an effective screen, but Sivaramakrishna's presence was enough to make that shot difficult. And after a tip, it will remain with the Gryphons. 19 on the shot clock. Coughlin set to inbound. Terrio in the corner. Hand off to Coughlin. He gives it right back to Terrio, who tries to find Dortch, but it was a little too high. Greg now in the transition. She pulls it back out to Larson, but before Larson can get in the paint, she took a step. Feet quicker than the hands there. It's a travel and a turnover. Ball to the Gryphons. Purchase. In the familiar press, Hudson dribbles it over halfway line, works her way into a bit of a double team, has to toss it up, and gets it right to Sivaramakrishnan. One of the easiest steals for her. Now out to Neb with the three-pointer. She likes to shoot the three. That one rattles out. Terrio with a quick transition. Oh my goodness, baseball passing galore. That finds a way to Hudson, but can't quite find Coughlin on the follow. Now it's Larson. Up-tempo game, back and forth. Patton drives, but Terrio takes it right away. Patton looking at the ref, but that was all clean. Terrio with an effective reach out to Ing Stewart for three. That one just a touch too strong. Ing Stewart leads the team in three-point field goals made per game, but doesn't get that one to go. Now, Tiana Patton, the freshman. She likes to go left, but there she finds Dortch, who keeps it inbound, but the only way she could was to give it back to Purchase. Now Larson for three, tries one. That's short. Hudson with the rebound, and I told you they like to get out in transition. It's Ing Stewart with the scoop. Oh, the spin and the nice move. Beautiful. Ing Stewart out in transition. That's where she feels most at home. And it's 5-2 for the home. Sivaramakrishnan driving right to Dortch, and she's fouled. Some contact at the end there will bring Sivaramakrishnan to the line. So as I mentioned in the opening, it was going to be intense. It was going to be quick. This game's already up and down. Both teams not leaving a lot of time, or leaving a lot of time on the shot clock. As Sivaramakrishnan will try her first. She misses her first. Sivaramakrishnan hasn't had the best free throw shooting year of her career, and she misses both there, shooting 8%. Now it's Terrio moving up the court quickly with Patton on her. Hudson now with McCray as the defender. Gets a screen from Dortch. Hudson, jump stop. And a little out of sync with Terrio. Terrio was looking for the back door. Hudson was looking for the kick out. That pass out of bounds and to the Panthers. Now Neb. With Purchase's chance for a half-court set. Ball at the top to Sivaramakrishnan. Neb finding the paint again after a backdoor. Now Argenzio drives left, gets a bump. That's a foul on Ing Stewart. Argenti on the wing again. Now it's Neb, jab step. Goes right. Now it's Patton. Going to left pretty much as always, and that floater drops. Bringing it to 5-4. And quick transition, but Dortch can't quite hold on. It's another turnover for the Gryphons. As we reach the halfway point of this first quarter, Gryphons lead 5-4. Neb finds Argenzio, who gives it up to Patton. Sivaramakrishnan at the top. A lot of ball movement from Purchase here, but the three from Neb rattles out of bounds, and that's Gryphons' ball. Colleen Coughlin to inbound. They're not set. They don't realize the play is started, but she gets it to Terrio, gives it right back to Colleen Coughlin. With a little hesitation and a scoop, draws the foul. Patton can't quite believe it, but Colleen Coughlin will go to the line. The senior who takes care of the ball. She has the #1 assist to turnover ratio in the conference, which means she both doesn't turn the ball over and she gives it up to her teammates. You could see it there. There was some good ball security, making sure the defender couldn't reach the ball, or the only way they could try to reach was to foul, as she drains both and extends the lead to 3. Gryphons still with a bit of a press. They let Neb go over the halfway line. Larson to Sivaramakrishnan at the top. Again, trying to find Neb in the paint. This time, Gryphons cover. Terrio pokes it free. The scramble for the ball, but Larson comes out with it, who dribbles by Jersana Moore, who just came in the game, and converts the layup, and it immediately tips the inbound pass, but Gryphons hold on to it. Hudson making her move on Argenzio. Finds her way past Argenzio, up, but a little too much on it. And Larson in transition wanted to move a little too quickly, and she travels again. Gryphons with a little bit of a break there, as Purchase had a beautiful opportunity to get out in transition, but a little too quick for their own good, as Terrio making her move on Sivaramakrishnan, but she loses the handle. Now Neb on the other side. And they'll call I believe, nope, they're resetting the shot clock. Shot clock was too low. It was at 19, but Purchase only had the ball for 3 seconds, so they'll reset it to 27. Argenzio inbounds to Neb as Coach Bauer calls the play. Neb gives it back to Argenzio, driving right. Stops, pulls it out, tries the left side. Now gives it up to Sivaramakrishnan. Kicks it to McCray from deep, too strong. Hudson with the rebound. Looking forward immediately, as always. This time, nothing there. Hudson now calling the play. What kind of half-court set do the Gryphons have? Hudson finding Jersana Moore. The spark from the bench, a little soft on that one, but draws the foul on Sivaramakrishnan. Both McCray and Sivaramakrishnan are looking in disbelief, but Jersana Moore to the line. Jersana Moore, who had an impressive game against Merchant Marine. A game the Gryphons lost, even though they were in it very much so for 3 full quarters. It's one of the best teams in the conference. Jersana Moore drains the first. And it was one of the most electric atmospheres you'll find in this conference. It was Merchant Marine's senior day. Crowd was large and the energy was high, but Moore misses the second. And Purchase find a way through the scramble. Larson on the other side. McCray driving left, driving hard. And they call a blocking foul on Coughlin. Coughlin was trying to draw the offensive foul. I believe the ref thought she was still moving, hadn't established her position yet. And since Jamira McCray was going up for the layup, who's in the act of shooting, and she's at the line. And since she made the shot, they're just confirming she did, in fact, make the shot. She'll shoot one, and she makes one. Now, Purchase Panthers with a 1-point lead. All of a sudden, Ing Stewart picks the ball up, finds Terrio. Driving left, Hudson driving right. Gives it up to Ing Stewart, 1-2. Up a little off to the left, but she gets her own rebound. And the second chance is good. That first, you don't succeed, try again. Ing Stewart following up her own shot, getting the put back. Now it's Charlie Nebb on the left-handed drive, as she often likes to do. Couldn't get that one to fall. Hudson now clears the left side. And they call her on the carry. Turnover for the Gryphons. An unfortunate, unforced error there. In this 1-point game, now Larson coming down the court, finds McCray, back to Larson. Lines one up, off to the right, and one of the smallest players on the court grabs the rebound and pushes the pace. 1-2, up, and a little too soft on that layup, that scoop. Now Panthers with a numbers advantage here for a second, as Moore was trying to find her way back, but Nebb can't convert the layup. She was under the basket when she threw it up. And the refs call another carry as Moore in transition gets her hand under the ball. According to the refs, and that'll be another turnover. The Gryphons already with 9 turnovers. They continue at that pace. This is going to be a very difficult game, as McCray launches one but hits nothing but air. Finds Terrio. Terrio gonna make a move herself. Kicks it out to Moore, who goes left and scoops it home. Hello, Jersana Moore. Soft touch with the left hand, as that one drops. Lead now back to 3. Hudson with a smart hand there, making it difficult for Cosbert, but she holds on. Ball finds its way to Larson, to Mahabir, who can't quite convert the little bunny. Gryphons again pushing the ball. Here, Madison, who just entered the game. An impressive 3-point shooter. Jersana kicks it to Terrio for 3. She nails it. Sarah Terrio, who's a 22% 3-point shooter, nails that one, extends the lead to 6. Big time 3 in a big game. And as Purchase was dribbling up, a Gryphon got a hand in there, poked it out of bounds. The ball will stay with the Panthers. And Purchase on these sideline inbounds likes to stack 3 players in a row, as they just did. Now Larson thinking about a shot. Instead, ball finds its way to Greg. Larson gets it back though. That paint is packed. Nowhere to go. No easy layups. Greg now in the corner. A blocking foul called on Coughlin. Those are tough situations to call. Who was there first? Was it the defender or was it the attacker? In this case, refs say she hadn't established her position yet. And that's another blocking foul on Coughlin. Cosbers gets direction from Bauer. Hand off to Greg. Thinks about a deep three and says, takes one dribble, but that three isn't good either. And on the rebound, there's a bump. McCray, who had some words for the ref as well, fouls, and the ball will go to the Gryphons. Spinopoulos to inbound. Panthers still with that press. Gryphons have been dealing with the press relatively well, but that was the last second of the quarter as we end this one with 15 for the Gryphons and 9 for the Panthers. If you're the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons here, you got to think you won't be turning the ball over at this pace for the rest of the game. You sure hope you won't. So you're reasonably happy to come away with a 6-point lead regardless. Before the game, Coach Rather said one of the keys here is the rebounding battle. As Purchase is not, let's say, the best rebounding team. They don't have a ton of height, and they are often out-rebounded. And so if the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons can get those rebounds, those offensive rebounds, as we already saw Jading Stewart get, they can get more of those and get easy second chance points and make sure that Purchase doesn't get extra possessions off of offensive rebounds themselves. That's how the Gryphons can win this game. As both teams come back to the court, the Gryphons will start with the ball because after a jump ball was forced early in the quarter, possession arrow switched. So the benefit of forcing that jump ball earlier was to get the ball right here, as Hudson has to pick up her dribble but finds Terrio on the wing. Gets a screen from Ing Stewart, who doubles back, drive, and after a kick, the ball will stay with the Gryphons. Now under the basket. Ing Stewart to catalyze the play. Gets it out to Terrio. Two-man play. Ing Stewart, midi jumper. That one's off. And it's Neves with the rebound. Greg to push it. Greg still pushing it. Finds McCray. Coughlin gets set, but McCray finds Neves for the easy layup. Good find on the drive. Lead now down to 4. Hudson calling the plays. Terrio waits for the screen from Ing Stewart. A hard switch. And the refs agree. It was hard enough to warrant a foul. That one is on Cosbert. Ing Stewart to inbound. Who goes for a nifty pass all the way to Dortch, who tries and on the second attempt gets the and one. Tough rebound and put back from Kayla Dortch. Ing Stewart did well to identify a bit of a mismatch there with Dortch under the basket. But just identifying that mismatch doesn't make that pass easy. as she put it in the one spot where Dortch could get it, but the defender could not. Dortch now with the bonus free throw, and she drains that one. Lead now to 7 for the Gryphons. Can the Panthers respond? Cosbert now leading the play. She drives left, and she's trying to go all the way, but Hudson was there with her hands on the ball. They call a jump. This one will stay with the Panthers, but as I mentioned before, that'll switch the possession arrow. Impressive play there by Hudson to not foul, but to get both of her hands on the ball to force the jump ball. Now, Tiana Patton, who loves to drive left, kicks it to Larson. That one's too strong, and Ing Stewart on the rebound. Got a push in the back from Greg as they call the foul. Purchase already has 3 fouls in the quarter. Terrio with a quick outlet, trying to go all the way, thinks about it. Instead, lays it off to Coughlin with a short jumper. Nothing but nylon. 9-point game. Cosbert again to lead the play. As she pushes off, gets the offensive foul. The pressure from Hudson just annoying enough for Cosbert to want to create some separation with her. But in doing so, she pushed Hudson, and the ball will go to the Gryphons. 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Can Sarah Lawrence extend the lead? Yes, they can. And as they do, Coach Bauer says, I've seen enough in this quarter. Let's call a timeout, regroup, and talk things over. 30-second timeout here, so we'll be back shortly as the starters stay on the court. And the refs tell them to move past that little green line that tells them where to stand. And now, Sarah Lawrence on a little bit of a run here. As it was 11-15. And since then, Sarah Lawrence has gone on a 7-0 run. Coach Bauer making some adjustments, talking things over. As Neb is back in the game. Neb gets it back to Larson, who's forced to give it back to Neb, who finds Greg in the open court. A Euro step, draws the foul from Kayla Dortch. Nice move from Greg there. Avoiding the defender, avoiding an offensive foul, as Greg, the shooter, encourages Tiana Patton in the rebounding spot there. As Darby Staten enters the game for Kayla Dortch. Greg nails the first. Greg, a 58% free throw shooter. A junior from Rye Brook, New York. Short on the second, but Neves is there to pick up the pieces. And then the refs stop the play. Another timing issue as they make sure the shot clock is set to the right number. This time 17. As Neb inbounds to Neves, who finds a cutting Patton, but they're forced to kick it out. Neb now under the basket. And Giles wanted to drive right so enthusiastically. She took a big step but picked up that pivot foot before the ball dropped. That's a travel, another travel for the Panthers. The Gryphons have been called on multiple carries, whereas the Panthers have been called on multiple travels. Now, Stewart to Terrio with some contact, but refs say it's all good. Terrio again, and the second time, she's there. That one falls. Lead now to 12 as Sarah Lawrence doubles up the Purchase Panthers. Now, Neves. As Colleen Coughlin gets called on another blocking foul, and another time she wanted to draw the offensive foul. She wanted to explain it to the ref. Instead, remains cool, calm, and collected as Jersana Moore will enter the game for said Coughlin. Neves, a little too much on the first. Coughlin, who is a pro at drawing those offensive fouls, getting set, falling to the ground as Neves converts the second. And Sivaramakrishnan will enter the game for the shooter Neves. Jersana Moore finds Stewart, who now has to deal with two defenders, but she gets it over the halfway line to the corner with Terrio, who goes to work in the paint. That's where she likes to be. She wiggles between two players. First one's no good, but on the second, she draws the foul, and she'll go to the charity stripe. Coach Rather huddling up the remainder of the troops. Sarah Terrio, a 72% free throw shooter. A little too strong on the first. As Staten and Stewart will help on the rebounding. Terrio splits the pair. Terrio already at 5 points. As the Gryphons are spreading the scoring this time around. 4 players with 4 points. Sarah Terrio just scored her 6th, actually. Staten in between there with her hands, but Sivaramakrishnan finds Giles, who finds the bottom of the net. Now a 10-point game. Purchase still with that full court press, but the Gryphons in a quick transition, little bunny, and that's gonna be money every single time if Sarah Terrio is shooting it. Now at 8, Giles quickly on the other hand, runs right into Staten. Ooh, I'm doing my best here to stay as neutral as I can. Staten, who was standing there seemingly for a very long time with her hands up, absorbed the contact from Giles, but given Staten's stature versus that of Giles, Giles was the one to go to the ground, and they call a foul on Staten. So Neb is set to inbound with 20 seconds on the shot clock. But those are always tough calls in the end. When there's a collision and one player goes to the ground. Hudson now with the rebound as Argenzio can't get the 3 to fall. Hudson gets by Giles, finds room for a floater. A little short on that though. Giles with a quick rebound. She's pushing it. Tries to find Patton, but Sarah Terrio read it the whole way, who whips it all the way up to Hudson, who turn around, jump shot. A little too much on that one. As Patton now quickly in transition on the other side. This is a never-ending saga. Oh, and on the rebound, Sivaramakrishnan gets her hands on it, but so do the Gryphons, as that's a jump ball. These teams will simply not stop pushing the pace. Saratorio takes this moment for a quick breather. And after the jump ball, the Gryphons set to inbound with Jersana Moore at the inbounding duties. He gets it right back from Ing Stewart with Patton there, who tries to draw the offensive foul, instead fouls herself. As both players were running at full speed, it seemed. Patton now on the floor. We hope she's okay. Both teams giving Patton some space as they huddle up, drink some water. Patton is still on the floor. She has the trainer with her. That can't be a good sign. Now, these two teams have played each other 12 times. Purchase has won 8 of those matchups. Sarah Lawrence 4. Last time these teams met was in February of last year. Under very different circumstances, both teams ultimately not making the playoffs. Whereas this game very much has playoff implications. In that meeting in February, the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons won by 8. We hear some clapping, and Patton makes her way to her feet, thank goodness. Still has her hands on her knees. Still taking some time to recover. Oh, seems like she can't put pressure on that one leg. Oh, you hate to see it. Oh. Your heart breaks for Patton, who's had a great season so far. Energetic player, fast, leads the team in steals. Is trying to force a turnover there. But in the resulting collision, something ended up being off. As we restart the game, and Jersana Moore shoots 2. And Moore goes 1 for 2 from the line, as the Gryphons extend the lead to 13. Now, what does the Purchase offense look like without Tiana Patton, one of their main scorers? Gregg lines one up from 3 and drills that one. Gregg likes the outside shot. She's 33% on the year. She's got a good look there and cut the lead to 10. Now, Terrio drops one up to Staten, who gets the and 1. You can tell she's excited for that. Staten, who is back from injury after break. And is putting her mark on this game with a nice and 1 after a good feed from Sarah Terrio. The winter break either helping or hurting. Oh, as Staten misses a second, but Jersana Moore nabs the rebound. Hudson now. Ing Stewart from deep, a little too strong. And after a tip, ball will go to the Panthers. as I was saying, that winter break can sometimes help you or hurt you. Coach Bauer is saying before the game that felt like the team had a lot of momentum going into the break. So in a way, the break might have hurt Purchase a little bit. Whereas for the Gryphons, it meant that Staten could come back into the fold as Larson looking for a drive, but the Gryphons are called on a foul. That one is on Moore as Neb will quarterback this play from the baseline. Argenzio on the wing. Fakes Ing Stewart, but in doing so, takes a big step. Picks up that back foot, and the refs call her on a travel. As Kendall Stevens now entering the game for Darby Staten. Moore looking for the inbounds, finds Ing Stewart, who rolls away from Argenzio. Now on the wing, Hudson, quick jab step, and an offensive foul. That one on Kendall Stevens as she was moving, as she was setting that screen. And yet another turnover for the Gryphons. And the refs blowing the play dead for another timing issue. Setting the shot clock to 27. And we'll redo that inbounds as Sarah Terrio is quick to the punch. Tries to inbound that, or keep it inbounds rather. Can't quite do so. Almost did. As two Purchase players now going long, leaving the other two to get the ball over the half-court line. Neb pushing the pace, but it's poked free. Hudson up to Moore, 1-2, and that drops. Gryphons in transition, where they feel comfortable, extending that lead to 14. Wanting to leave no doubt in this game. Kick to Larson. Way strong on that one. Terrio with an opportunity to push it. Dribbles by one, dribbles by another. Kick to Moore, thinks about a three-pointer. Moore converting that last bucket. Hudson gets a screen from Stevens. Hudson pushing through defenders and drawing the foul. Hudson and Moore, really, and frankly, all of the Gryphons, very good at protecting the ball as they drive. Keeping it both away from the defender or covering it with multiple hands. And in doing so, you're either not going to lose the ball at all, or when the defender inevitably tries to reach for it, you draw the foul. So when you have that ball pinned to you, it's so hard to poke it loose. As Hudson draws the foul that way and splits the pair from the line. Neb directing her teammates. Looks like a bit of a horns play, and Sarah Terrio read it once again and converts that into two. Gryphons 35, Panthers 18. Argenzio tries to cut into that lead, but every shot from that side of the three-point line seems to just hit nothing. Hudson looking for another drive as she jumps and levitates almost. That one rolls out, but Jersana Moore with yet another rebound, but can't find a teammate. Instead, finds Argenzio, tries to find her teammate, Mahabir. Terrio reads it, gives it up to Hudson, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. A 19-point lead for the Gryphons. A comfortable cushion now as Sarah Lawrence is putting their stamp, their mark on this game. quick transitions. Steals in the half court. And getting rebounds off of three-pointers and just looking forward immediately. The Gryphons have a lot of quick players. A lot of quick players with Hudson, Moore. I mean, frankly, everybody's quick. So, Sarah Lawrence, who was on a 6-game winning streak. Longest winning streak of this team's history. That winning streak was snapped against Merchant Marine, which was always going to be a tough game. They kept it close. The Purchase Panthers, on the other hand, earlier this season were on a 4-game winning streak, but now they're on a tough stretch, as Coach Bauer acknowledged. They've lost 3 in a row. Of course, against tough opponents, but still, once you've lost a couple in a row, it can start getting into your head. You start messing with your mojo. As Larson thought about passing it, then hesitated, results in the turnover, and after a couple of passes, and they call off the transition bucket. Refs say that Jersana Moore was holding back a defender as Hudson was still dribbling the ball. Essentially a type of moving screen. So that too will be erased. And now Spinopoulos back into the game. As the Gryphons look to try out a 2-3 zone here. Greg on the wing. Fake, dribble drive, up. Floater's a little short. Spinopoulos with the rebound, looks forward. Same recipe, same result. Yep, same result. As Moore gets that layup to go. Greg, cross-court pass to McCray, to Neb. Swings it to Greg. Tries to find Neves down low. Does find Neves down low. Backs down Dortch, but as she tries to employ the spin, she travels. Yet another travel for the Purchase Panthers. Spinopoulos to inbound. Gets it to Moore, who deals well with the pressure. Larson right at her hip. You see that Purchase defense, that ball pressure that they love to give. But Moore navigates around it. Heaves one up. That doesn't go. As Moore, with 8 points on the game, was maybe just testing out how many she could get to fall. Now Greg, jump stop. Inside pass to Neves, hits her knees. Neves' knees. Nice tongue twister for you as a swing to McCray. Up. And that rattles out. Stevens with the rebounds. As the Gryphons are now playing with multiple bigs, Stevens and Dortch on the court. Dortch turns around, says, "You're giving me that shot? Thank you very much, I'll take it." Converts it to 45 seconds left in the half. If Purchase is quick, they could get a 2-for-1. Neb is thinking the same thing as she goes from deep, but Greg with the rebound. Out to Larson, one dribble, back to Neb. Dribbles left, 1-2, and she draws the foul. Went up strong, absorbed the contact, ends up at the line. Neb trying to nab 2 free throws. Neb nabs the first. And she can't get the second to fall. And we have 25 seconds left in the quarter. Gryphon's gonna try to take the last shot here, but Greg comes in late with a steal attempt. But the Panthers were the last to touch it, so it'll stay with the Gryphons. We're now over the halfway line. 20 seconds left. And Stewart gets it to Moore. He's gonna wait this one out. Probably initiate some offense. Yep, here we go, 10 seconds. Going for a drive, 1-2, under the knees, but Madison there with the offensive rebound, and she puts it right. That's your Sarah Lawrence Gryphons with 43. The Purchase Panthers with 19, a 24-point lead for the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons. What dreams are made of. An important game for reaching the playoffs and for potential playoff seeding. Gryphons leaving no doubt. And on that last possession there, Audrey Madison, who has less than 1 rebound a game, with a clever offensive rebound, a putback, a score to end the half in good cheer. So we will take a break and be right back with you in 12 minutes or so. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is halftime, and I am joined by assistant coach extraordinaire, Jordan Medina. Jordan, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm enjoying myself. What did you think of that first half?
I thought we did a pretty good job in the second quarter, cleaning up our defense and also winning the rebounding battle 31-13, which I am very happy about.
Exactly. Coach Rather was talking ahead of the game that the rebounding battle might be the difference maker. So those are some good numbers. But you said the second quarter. First quarter, maybe not quite the same. What do you think the team could do better?
I think they could do better about talking about on defense with each other, especially when we go man-to-man. But we've been doing zone, a little bit of man, so, I mean, just cleaning up our defense a little bit. But other than that, I think our offense and our transition is really key right now.
Yes, a lot of transition points already. Seems to be a big difference maker. And what adjustments were you making during that first quarter and going into the second quarter? Why was the second quarter so different? I believe the first quarter had 9 turnovers, second quarter 3.
Yeah, the turnover ratio we definitely wanted to change. So definitely upping the defense and then having our girls just get out and transition as much as we possibly can.
Exactly, and y'all did a great job of that. And how would you describe the atmosphere in the team, in the locker room right now, but also just in general?
They are so happy, especially after Audrey hit that last shot right before halftime. So they were really happy, really pumped, and it should be a good second half right here.
It should be a good second half indeed. I'll let you go back down to the team, but thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you join me in the future again.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And many, many thanks to Jordan Medina for joining me there, giving some insight from the coach's perspective down low on the bench. As she said, rebounding battle was going to be important, and the Gryphons are leading it by 31-13. Those are impressive numbers, as the Gryphons aren't necessarily known as a rebounding team, but they're rebounding today, and they have a big lead to show for it. And now, as we have 2 more minutes before we start the second half, we're going to do some of the usual programming you see on basketball broadcasts with some basketball poetry, if you can believe it. Because why not? So, here, a basketball poem for you to enjoy. The ball goes round as seasons always do, through eager hands, both old and new. Some shots fall true, some softly turn away, yet still the game invites us all to stay. For in this space of wood and echoed sound, we find a joy that needs no final count. Written by yours truly, and if you're wondering why I did not become a poet, it's exactly for that reason. So instead, I'll just use this dead time for the basketball poetry. Because we're in college, right? Or at least the players are in college. So, just a little bonus for you there. As we will get started in 30 seconds or so. The Gryphons with a comfortable lead, as we can run through some stats for Sarah Lawrence. Sarah Terrio, a familiar name, leading the way with 10 points. Gabby Hudson following with 7, and Jersana Moore with 8 off the bench, providing a spark. Whereas for Purchase, it is Greg with 4 points, Neb with 3, McCray with 3, Neves with 3, and a couple with 2. They only have 19 points so far. The Gryphons defense doing its job. So we start this second half. Will the Gryphons extend their lead even further, or does Purchase have an answer on the first possession? McCray, a little too strong. Terrio with the rebound. Hudson, jump stop. Out to Ing Stewart. Coughlin to Hudson. Coughlin with the screen, or a soft screen at that. Jump stop from Hudson. That rolls in. Strong move from Gabby Hudson to get by the defender. And Ing Stewart is quick to steal that one and put it right back in the hoop. 4 very quick points for the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons. And there is Sarah Terrio to make it 6 in a row. There you go. That's how quickly you can score in this game. As the Panthers were struggling to inbound the ball cleanly, the Gryphons always in between, and you can tell Coach Rather did not want to let up. Knows this is an important game, and the Gryphons haven't had a true blowout win yet, so they don't want to leave any doubt in this game now, right when they're getting comfortable. So, Coach Bauer with some adjustments, probably to make this inbounding easier. Can the Gryphons get yet another steal, as they will keep the press on? We got 3 guards in a row, and the ball goes long to McCray, who they have a quick 2-on-1 if they want it. And McCray draws the foul, but it's a foul on the floor, and she was not in a shooting motion. Neb inbounds right back to McCray. Gryphons in a 2-3 zone here. As you heard from assistant coach Jordan Medina, they're trying different defenses. That time, Sivarama Krishnan with the feed to Neb. And 2 points for the Panthers, their first of the third quarter. Now Coughlin scooping, laying it in. A scoop an ice cream parlor would be proud of. All control and all 2 points for the Gryphons, who extend their lead back to 30. Gryphons keeping the energy up from the bench. Perhaps you can hear them with a chance of defense. And Greg, way too strong on the 3-point attempt. And on the rebound, a foul is called. Looks to be on Neb, or at least referee had her hand in the fist. But either way, Gryphons ball. It's Hudson who gets fouled by McCray, as Hudson rips through. McCray had her hands low and ready. That's exactly what you teach your players. If the defender has their hands out, you rip through them. You can often draw the foul, or even if you don't, you go right by them, as Hudson blows by a couple of defenders, and with the soft touch, gets that one to go down the rabbit hole, as Sarah Lawrence looks for another steal. But a little too much sauce on that one, a little bit too much contact. And after a foul, Purchase will inbound from the sideline. Gryphons taking off the pressure at this inbound. They'll get set in their 2-3 zone. Rosanna Moore. Now Madison defending Greg, who tries to drive, kicks it to McCray. Gives it right back to Greg. Thinks about a pass, does pass it. McCray back to Greg, as Purchase is struggling to find offense, so Greg will launch one. That's short. Rebound to the Gryphons. Ooh, as Hudson almost loses it, but in doing so, draws 2 defenders, rifles it to Moore, gives it up to Ing Stewart. A little too much on that one. and Purchase come the other way. Quick forward pass from Neb to Greg, who finds her way to the point. Kick, and it is McCray for three. No good. Hudson yet again with the ball. One-handed pass all the way across the court, but not quite in sync with Madison there, the intended receiver. Madison perhaps not expecting the ball that early in the possession. As that one goes out of bounds and to the Panthers. Gryphons taking off their press, but still in their 2-3 zone with two defenders near the top. That'll be Madison and Moore, and three defenders spread across the baseline, all protecting their individual zone. Larson now for three. That doesn't go, but Sivaramakrishnan tips it right to her teammate, who gives it back up to Larson, who shuffled her feet and travels. Purchase doing so much traveling, they might need a passport sometime soon. As that's yet another turnover for the team in orange. Easy inbound to Hudson, who drives on Neb, gets by Neb, jump stop, shot, same result. Another bucket for Hudson. Hudson reaching her flow state just like the river. Flowing like a Hudson. Neb now launches one. That doesn't go. Dortch with the outlet to Spinopoulos. Gives it up to Hudson, who jump stop. Same shot, same result. Hudson is truly in flow. Who is going to stop her? Who can stop her, frankly? When those kind of shots drop, it's just really tough to defend. And she even gets a poke, a steal, an outlet, and yet two more for Hudson, who is feeling herself. Hudson now with 17 points. I think 10 of those coming this quarter already, or 8. A little too strong on that three-point attempt by Neb as Hudson's going, moving, evades one, evades another, but ref call a double dribble. As they said, she picked up the ball or mid-dribble. Perhaps had it pinned to her body for a second there before she dribbled again, which might be the ref's interpretation. Now it's Cosbert to quarterback the play. Gives it up to Argenzio, lines one up from way downtown. That doesn't go, but Neb's there to rebound. Argenzio tries again. That one rattles out too. Kendall Stevens with the rebounds. Draws the immediate foul. Good rebounding there by Kendall Stevens to reach up and get the ball at its highest point. Instead of waiting for the ball to come to you, reaching up and heading towards the ball yourself. Now Hudson, some strong dribbling, strong screen by Stevens, and yet another for Hudson. She just can't stop. Nobody can stop her. Argenzio now to Giles, baseline dribble, kick to Neb. She likes the three ball, but that doesn't go. Spinopoulos with her quick rebound, and after a little bit of pinball, it ends up with Giles, who drives, lays it off to Mahabir, who banks home the layup. Hudson turning. Oh, another shot, heat check. That goes, oh my goodness. Nobody can stop Hudson. Nobody can stop her on an absolute tear right now. As Gryphons fall back in their 2-3 zone, Argenzio tries to penetrate but loses the ball as they give it back up to Hudson, who turns it into magic every single time. And pass, layup. Oh, Madison can't quite convert. Cosbert with the rebounds. as Hudson now reaches in for the foul. That'll be the first for her. Hudson now at 21 points. Incredible work. By Hudson, who now gets some additional claps as she gets subbed off. Everybody acknowledging her performance here in the third quarter. Hudson just took over. Gryphons now with a 40-point lead. Who would have thought this would happen? As Perry Yoon enters the game, the senior. As another three-pointer doesn't quite fall. And after some tipping, ball will stay with the Panthers. Perry Yoon, who is a cross-country star, joined cross-country late, actually, only this year, as Neb pump fakes and converts the layup. But Perry Yoon, who came to cross-country late, but then immediately found success, winning a medal as Moore gets two screens, floats one up, banks it home, but Staten is there for the rebound, and she draws the foul. Going up immediately after getting the rebound. More often than not, that's going to end up with positive results, as it does here. Staten to the line. Staten, the 6-foot freshman from La Crescenta, California. Went to Crescenta Valley. A little too strong on the first. But she drains the second. The lead is to 39. Gryphons still in a 2-3 zone. Panthers swing the ball. Argenzio looking at her options. Gives it to Neb. Now down low to Mahabir, who throws an errant pass. Was perhaps thinking that Giles was going to kick back out. She doesn't. As we'll take a quick timeout here, I believe. Yep, 30-second timeout. Players stay on the court. As the Gryphons are set to inbound from the sideline. And you can just sense that some of that energy that the Purchase Panthers usually bring to the game has been sucked out of the game, both by the departure of Tiana Patton, their leading scorer, who does not seem likely to return to this game, and by the sheer lead that the Gryphons have, bordering on 40 points now. Coach Bauer before the game saying that the energy they bring, the press, the defense, the high intensity has created a real identity for this Purchase Panther team, as there the pressure does pay off. Cosbert finding her way to the ball and then gets fouled immediately. They'll say that one's on Staten. And that high energy, high intensity play has put Purchase in a position to make the playoffs for the first time since 2018. Argenzio from the parking lot. That doesn't go. Moore dribbling coast to coast, but last second pass to Madison. And after a quick fumble, ball ends up with Moore again, who tries to give it to Kendall Stevens, and then a collision between Perry Yoon and Giles results in a foul on Yoon as the two number ones collide. And now Madeline Moore, number 10, enters the game. You can sense some additional excitement from the Sarah Lawrence bench. Madeline Moore, a two-sport athlete. On her last appearance, made a bucket, so is averaging 2 points a game. Giles makes the first. And she makes the second. And the Purchase Panthers keep up that press. They never take it off. No matter the lead, no matter the circumstances, they bring that energy, they practice their full court press, and that time they convert it into a turnover as Neb finds Mahabir, the top of the elbow. Now Cosbert gives it up to Argenzio with a good closeout from Madeline Moore. And a foul on the rebound from Mahabir. And Sarah Lawrence will inbound under the basket once again. Can they navigate the pressure from the Panthers? Inbounds to Moore. Cosbert was reaching for it. Gets a touch, but nobody else touches it, so it'll stay with the Gryphons. Madison to inbound. Finds Moore, who dribbles it over half court, but a poke from Neb and a grab from Giles. A quick steal and a quick layup for the Panthers. As the Panthers are finding some life, finding some energy back into this game. Stevens now with the ball, whips it forward to Moore, and there's a struggle for the ball. Neves and Moore both grabbing at it. The refs call a jump ball. This one will stay with the Gryphons. And Coach Rather calls a full timeout to talk things over as the Panthers getting loud again, getting excited again. Giles with a couple of buckets. So now with some new players on the court, Coach Rather is going to make sure everybody knows what their assignments are. Make sure they can avoid first quarter, as I mentioned at halftime with Coach Jordan Medina. In the first quarter, Sarah Lawrence Gryphons had 9 turnovers. And they had set a goal for themselves to have less than 18 turnovers on the game. So if you start off with 9, I'm no math wizard, but that's not going to get you there. But thankfully, in the second quarter, they limited their turnovers to 3. And you could see that reflected in the score. After the first quarter, it was a 6-point game. And at halftime, it was over 20. But now the Gryphons with a couple of turnovers again. Inbounds, Stevens to Moore. There's another reach from Cosbert. Deflection as Moore gets the ball, and they call a backcourt violation. As there's some discussion. But it's the Panthers under the basket. Argenzio driving to the right, and the refs stop the game once again for a timing issue. It should be 18 seconds on the shot clock. Moore defending Cosbert on this inbounds. Oh. As we still don't have the right time on the clock. There we go. We got 1:05 on the game clock and 18 on the shot clock. Just like the refs ordered. Moore defending the inbound, and now Giles, who is feeling herself, goes up, draws a foul, and she'll go to the line. As Giles, who has 6 points on the game, is a 75% free throw shooter. Makes the first. Charlize Giles, the 5'6" sophomore from Yonkers, New York, which is not far from here at all. On the second, misses it, but tries to grab her own rebound, does grab her own rebound, stumbles, but finds her way to her feet. And the ball finds its way to Neb. As the Purchase Panthers get another opportunity. 8 on the shot clock. As she goes up. Cosbert goes up. Draws the foul from Moore. And now it'll be Cosbert at the charity stripe. As Coach Rather mentioned before the game, both teams do foul quite a lot. Seeing that play out here as Cosbert drains the first. Beautiful free throw, to be honest, nothing but net. But the second bounces out, but there is Giles once again. She is all over the court. Grabs that offensive rebound, but Panthers give it right back to the Gryphons, and as Yoon goes up the court, she gets fouled from behind. Cosbert on the foul, and Yoon to the line. Perry Yoon with her first free throws of the season. First one bounces out. But nothing but net on the second. And you can hear how happy that makes both the Sarah Lawrence audience and the Sarah Lawrence bench. Perry Yoon, a player that always brings the energy from the bench. Whether she's in the game or not, she is encouraging of her teammates, and her teammates are encouraging of her right here. As 12 seconds left in the quarter, a little bit of a tussle. 2 shots go up, neither fall. And Gryphons end up with the ball. I'm feeling rhymey today. Maybe it's just all that poetry. Here we go. Moore with 5 seconds left. 4, 3. Does she know the time on the clock? 2, 1. Has to hoist one up, but doesn't quite get a shot off before the end of the third. But after 3, it's 65 for the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons and 31 for the Purchase Panthers. A 34-point lead. If you would have given this scoreline ahead of the game to Coach Rather or pretty much anybody on the Sarah Lawrence bench, I think they'd be confident. I'm confident that they would have taken it any day of the week. A game that some perhaps thought might be close, given their similar records in the conference. Turns out Gryphons have something extra in the tank. And of course, we can't forget that, unfortunately, Tiana Patton had to leave the game early. The Panthers' leading scorer. As we hope that she's okay, but clearly won't be returning this game. So the Gryphons started that third quarter off very quickly, very hot. Hudson on an absolute heater. Seemed like everything she touched turned into gold for a second there. Every shot seemed to drop. And then after some fresh faces entered the game on both sides, Purchase brought back a little bit of energy. Mainly led by Charlie's Giles. And now we start with the fourth. Purchase on the possession. As it looks like the Gryphons are back in a man-to-man defense, but Argenzio sinks the three-pointer, cutting the lead to 31. Serraterio asking for a screen from Staten. Staten now gets the ball from Terrio, gives it up to Coughlin. Screen from Dortch. Midi from Coughlin. Bounces out, Terrio there to grab it right back. That doesn't go. Dortch with the rebounds. 2 quick offensive rebounds for the Gryphons. And the inside pass to Staten. Just a little too difficult to keep in bounds. And after 2 failed shot attempts, the Gryphons come up with nothing on that possession. Now Cosworth driving hard to the left, but great defense as well. And a quick transition on the other side. This is Sarah Lawrence basketball. Serraterio converts the 2. And the lead is back to 33. Spinopoulos on net. Now Coughlin on Cosbert. Staten on Argenzio. Great defense all around, although Spinopoulos can't quite keep track of Neb. She drives right, and Neb converts a layup. But now, on the other end, Spinopoulos responds right back. Says, what you can do, I can do too. Quick response from the Gryphons. As I was mentioning, Gryphons now back in a man-to-man, person-to-person defense. Spinopoulos, now Dortch defending Neves, but Neves with the post move converts the 2. Serraterio going quick, wants to go coast to coast, but was surrounded by 2 defenders who make it difficult for her. End result is a travel and Purchase ball. As we are taking a quick timeout. 30-second timeout, players stay out. And clearly, Coach Rather wants to play hard, not letting the lead let them get complacent. 31-point lead. Yes, it's good, but Coach Rather wants more. It's on the court now. We have Spinopoulos, Staten, Terrio, Dortch, and Coughlin. Gryphons no longer pressing. Cosbert will dribble up for the Panthers. Now Greg, who drives to the right, jump stop, and a nice push through after the fake. A push through to make 2. Like I said, I'm in a rhyming mood. I can't help it, ladies and gentlemen. Dortch with the screen. Midi jumper from Coughlin. That one rattles out, but Dortch is there to grab it from the rim, and Staten was there to grab it too, but neither can convert. Cosbert in a quick transition, but there's Spinopoulos. Smart interception as she read the play, tracked it, and found her way in between that pass. Now, Larson on Coughlin. Terrio with her back to the rim, assessing her options. Runs into Dortch. Now Staten. 4-3. They have to shoot. Coughlin from deep, a little short on the 3-pointer. And fight for the rebound. Greg gets it. pushing it. Still pushing it. Eyeing a pass, but gets a little push from Staten. And it's a foul on the Gryphons, and the visiting team will inbound from under the basket. Neves to McCray, swings it to Greg. Looking for the inside pass, finds it, and Neves on the and one. Almost surprised herself there. Greg, one of the most excited people in the building, as she gets the assist, and Neves gets the bonus. Chloe Neves, the 5'11" freshman from Harlem, New York. Can't get the extra free throw to go. Quick outlet to Terrio. You know, some of these rhymes aren't even intentional. Greg on Coughlin. Cosbert reaches in as she caught Griffin sleeping there for a second, and a nice move as Coughlin tried to defend that quick transition. But Cosbert kept the ball away from Coughlin and laid it right in. And they maintained the pressure. No matter the circumstances, the Purchase Panthers will bring the pressure. Now Ing Stewart receives the inbounds. Coughlin pushing. Larson recovers. Hand off to Moore. As Gryphons get set for their play. Terrio on the wing. Gets a screen from Dortch. And they call the offensive foul. A moving screen called on Dortch. Dortch was getting ready for the roll and looking to receive the pass, perhaps after a Terrio drive, but perhaps initiated that roll a little too soon and started moving, and the refs call an offensive foul. And after the missed attempts on the other end, there's another foul, this one on Jersana Moore, as the home team has already found itself at 4 fouls in the quarter. Not even halfway through, and every future foul, every future offensive foul will go straight to the line. As I can't help but overhear just a little bit of Coach Rather saying we are better than that. Because even though the Purchase Panthers will never stop bringing the pressure, nor will Coach Rather stop bringing the intensity. He keeps his team to a high standard all 4 quarters, no matter the circumstances, no matter the implications of the game. But it's all positive energy from the Gryphons bench. You can tell it. They're excited, they're happy. But that doesn't mean they're complacent. Madison defending the inbound from Cosbert. Cosbert can't quite find a teammate, but eventually finds Larson. Behind the back, picks it up. Nothing going. Greg now. Crossover from her, still nothing going. McCray in the corner. Tries a drive of her own, a little floater, and yet another foul. And McCray will go to the line. As Coach Steve Bauer, in the meantime, in the little bit of dead space there, shows Chloe Neves exactly how to box out, or at least how he wants her to box out. And Neves will now assist in the rebounding as McCray misses her first. McCray splits the pair. Terrio receives the inbounds, pushes past Greg, but Larson can keep up. So they pull it back out. Now Ing Stewart going to work. Pass one, but Neves was there to make the shot difficult. Ing Stewart can't quite get the layup to go. And a nice nifty inside pass from Cosbert to Neves. Neves almost didn't expect it herself, but can't quite go up. Now Greg driving left, too strong. Foul on the rebound. As Terrio almost looks disappointed because she wanted to push the ball. She saw an opportunity. As that, by the way, was a very impressive pass back to the official. Doesn't count for anything, but impressive nonetheless. One-handed right in the breadbasket, as they say. Now Moore surrounded by defenders, but no trouble, no problem for Moore. A little bit of a horn setup here as Moore, with the pressure from Greg, dribbles it off of her own leg. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here all night. Greg and leg, it's just, they just keep coming. What can I tell you? It's like a floodgate. As soon as it's open, the rhyming just doesn't stop. And Terrio with a clever interception is now one-on-one with Neb, but Terrio is strong and draws the foul. It's really all Neb could do. And in a way, it was a smart transition foul because Neb still made sure that Terrio couldn't convert the layup for an and one. It's always a bit of a balance there in transition when you're one-on-one. Those are the easiest opportunities for an and one. You just get a little bit of contact, but not enough to make the shot difficult. That time, enough contact to make the shot difficult. But free throws for Terrio. First one rolls in. And second is good too. They have a 26-point lead for the Gryphons now. Neb looking for the back door to Greg, but a couple of ricochets and the ball will go to the Gryphons. The Panthers are cutting into that lead the Gryphons had this quarter. Not enough to really make it dangerous, but still, if you're the Gryphons and Coach Rather, you want to put your mark on this game. And that's why we still have some of the starters in the game. As Terrio receives a nice feed from Coughlin. And Terrio converts, but on the other end, Neb looking at her feet because the rest say she shuffled him. It'd be nice if they kept track of the number of travels as an independent stat. They don't. I'd be very curious how many of Purchase's turnovers are travels, but on quick transition, and Terrio with another bunny jumper, that's good. Terrio with a quick 4 points, bringing her total to 20. Leaving her mark on the game. McCray from way downtown, that's too strong. But after a ricochet off Spinopoulos, ball will stay with the Panthers as we get 4 subs here. Almost subbing the entire team. We got Perry Yoon, Madeline Moore, Darby Staten, Kendall Stevens back in the game. As the Panthers lead is back up, Panthers are definitely not leading. The Gryphons lead is back up to 30. And now everybody will get some minutes. A drive from number 0, pass to 33. Number 0 from the Purchase Panthers is Eden Joseph, getting her first minutes of the game. She tried to lay that off, but the Panthers don't convert. Now Spinopoulos to Yoon, to Stevens. To Spinopoulos, who gives it right back to Stevens, who has a one-on-one. And after a nice post move, extends the lead to 32. Neb on the other side with Yoon on her. Joseph, dribble, drives, out to Sivaramakrishnan, kicks it. McCray driving, back to Sivaramakrishnan, and Giles is there, who gets, I think, blocked by Spinopoulos. Gosh, I wish I had a replay feature. I didn't have the best angle there, but that looked like an impressive block. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Do they know it? McCray to the corner. Eden Joseph, 4 seconds. Launches one from 3. That's too strong. He's looking for a first three-pointer of the season there. Stevens is tied up a little bit, but gets it to Spinopoulos. Over the halfway line, Neb still giving pressure. Tries to reach in. Reaches in a little too much. As that's a foul. And the Gryphons will inbound from the sideline. Spinopoulos, the architect of this one. Yoon, Staten, and Moore lined up in formation, but the ball goes to Stevens, one-on-one with Sivaramakrishnan. Sivaramakrishnan blocks Stevens, erases that. We haven't seen it too much this game, but Sivaramakrishnan is one of the most elite shot blockers in the conference. She's second in shots blocked per game. As the Gryphons inbound, but bit of a miscommunication there, and Spinopoulos' pass reaches nobody. And the Panthers will now inbound from under the basket. Sivaramakrishnan with 2.2 blocks a game. She likes to roam the paint and then wait for the prime opportunity to strike, extend those long arms and block the shot. Now Joseph with a drive, tries to find Sivaramakrishnan, and then there's a hustle for the ball. And they call it a jump ball. As we have 1 minute and 16 seconds left in this matchup. Now, if you were here against the Mount St. Vincent Dolphins, you might remember that during the last minute, both teams took pretty much all of their timeouts, making the last minute of the game last pretty much forever as Joseph launches another 3, and that there was a bit of a push there with Joseph and Yoon. I think they might review that one because that looked pretty intentional, as Joseph seemed to be somewhat frustrated, perhaps with Yoon, and the rest will go to the monitor indeed. Joseph seemed to shrug Yoon off of her, and so the rest will see if that constitutes a flagrant foul. And just as I was going to say that this last minute probably won't last as long as the last minute in the Mount St. Vincent game, there's a stoppage. So who knows? After this stoppage, though, you'd imagine that both teams aren't likely to use up all of their timeouts here. given that it's a 32-point game. Well secured by the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons. And the ref's still talking things over, but they've seen enough from the monitor. And now they will discuss amongst themselves. So a tough stretch. Those were the words used by Coach Bauer. A tough stretch for the Panthers. Now looks to become an even tougher stretch as this game is pretty much over. And it seems like they may have lost their leading scorer for not just this game, but potentially multiple games. Which is always difficult to recover from. Just as Coach Bauer was telling me that the freshman Tiana Patton was improving as a passer and as a defender. Understanding her defensive assignments even better. And understanding when to give up the ball when she draws that attention from defenders. And right as Patton was growing into the season, I sure hope it hasn't been cut short. But we return. Spinopoulos uses the screen by Staten, but the screen itself was a little too strong. She was still moving, and that's a turnover for the Gryphons. As we enter the last minute of this game, ladies and gentlemen, the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons with 77 at home, and your guests. Ooh, nice move by Giles as she cuts through the defense, but she can't turn that nice move into points. Now Spinopoulos in a bit of trouble, has to get over the halfway line. She does, but has to jump stop, now surrounded by two defenders. And those two defenders reach for the ball. They find the ball. And a foul is called. A push, and that'll be 2 shots. As I mentioned before, earlier in this quarter, a lot of early fouls mean that the Panthers are in the bonus. And Giles will shoot 2. Doesn't convert the first. Giles was 7 this game. Trying to make it 8. Can't quite make it 8. As Stevens on the strong rebound. Outlet to Spinopoulos. Only a 1 second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. And you'd imagine that the Gryphons will hold the ball. They're not going to take another shot. Out of respect, it is well and truly over, but Yoon tries to pass it to Spinopoulos, and Panthers will give it one more go, try to limit the damage, and Giles will turn that 7-point game into a 9-point game. And now with 3 seconds left, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. The Sarah Lawrence Gryphons with a 77-47-point win over the Purchase Panthers. And you've got to think this is a huge win with playoff implications. The road to the playoffs looking pretty comfortable for the Sarah Lawrence Gryphons here as they improve to 6-3 in conference play. The Purchase Panthers extend their losing streak to 4 games. Purchase now at 5-4 in conference play. And who knows, this game down the line might have some real importance for seeding, as Sarah Lawrence is eyeing that 4th place spot, which would mean they would host a playoff game in their first ever playoff appearance. But they might even be looking for that 3rd place spot, although that seems difficult with Merchant Marine, Manhattanville, and Mount St. Mary's, as the audience shows some appreciation and love for their Sarah Lawrence Gryphons. It's been truly a pleasure calling this game. My name is Pete Marston. I'll be here all of January. I hope you enjoy the game, the broadcast, your evening. I'll see you next time. Thank you from the Campbell Sports Center.